Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Calvin Russell here, CEO and founder of 850 Club Credit Consultation. Hope everyone is doing well today. Today, we're going to talk about our CPNs legal. I did try to upload this video going live, but it said I had connection issues. Don't know why. I have all my bars, but I want to make sure I get this information out there because I get a lot of people that ask me, okay? Number one is that, in my own personal opinion, I've yet to see enough information to where I would ever offer this as a service to my clients, okay? The reason being is because I don't like short-term fixes, and to me, it's a short-term fix. For those who don't know, a CPN is a credit profile number. It's also been called a whole bunch of other things as well, too. In short, don't care what it's called. I promise you I don't. And but here's the process, okay? You find someone who is going to sell you a CPN number. You pay for the number. From what I've heard, that number can range anywhere between 700 all the way up to about 1500. I don't know about too much about is it higher than that, but that's usually the price ranges that I've heard. So let's just go somewhere in the middle. Let's just say it costs $1,000, right? Because I've done some numbers, which is why I'm going to explain more about this. So let's say it costs $1,000, okay? Now you have this empty profile credit number, well, social security number it's essentially replacing. No, not replacing. It's essentially an addition to what you already have that does not have any effect on your original social security number that you've been born with and that's already been assigned to you. Okay. So it has no effect on that. All right. It does not mean that if you pay for this number that all of your debts go away. As a matter of fact, nothing happens to your original debts at all. So you're probably saying, well, Calvin, why would I get one? Well, you get one because, well, I don't recommend you do, but what people do, they'll purchase one. So they don't have to pay for, well, I'm sorry, it's because their original credit is not the best, okay, that's tied to their original social, okay? So what people will do, they will purchase the CPN to now start establishing credit on this new credit profile, okay? So now what all can you do with a CPN, all right? Well, to the best of my knowledge, I know you can get credit cards, you can add trade lines to it, that type of jazz, all right? Now you already spent $1,000, okay? It's a brand new credit profile. So there aren't many credit cards that you will be able to get without them being secured. That's number one. So now you got to spend money on secured credit cards, okay? And if you're not that educated on secured credit cards, you're probably going to start spending $300, $400, $500. Let's just say you get one secured credit card, right? Now you're $300 in the hole. 300 plus 1,000 that it costs to get the CPN. Now you're at 1,300. Now you say, I want to ramp this up, right? So now you pay for a trade line. Now let's say on the low end, a trade line costs $300. Now you pay another $300, and now you're at $1,600, okay, to start establishing this credit. Now, let's say you've had it for a while, you're impatient, so now you want to go ahead and go to the dealership. So you go to the dealership, you go get a car, and of course you've waited, maybe 3 to 6 months for those lines to establish whatever you want to do. Let's just say you wait 3 months. Now you do that, your score is, let's say, a 620. Now you go to the dealership, you think you're going to get approved for an auto loan, right? And correct. Now, there are some dealerships that don't care, shady dealerships that they'll lie on everything through the entire application, just try to get you done because just so you know, anybody that's been in the car business that's sold cars or that's been in the finance game for quite some time, they know when they see a CPN or a wiped credit profile. And unfortunately, those people look like they did it too. I'm just being honest. So again, because usually they don't stop there. Usually the check stuff starts to look shady. The shady does never just begins with the CPN. I'm not saying that CPNs are shady. It just starts to create it comes with other things, okay? It's just like when things are cheaper. Yeah, it's a cheaper price, so just like Spirit Airlines, it's cheaper, right? But then you get there, now you got to pay for your bag, now you got to pay for this, now you got to pay for water, all this other jazz, right? And again, not throwing any shade that direction, but once you start doing one thing, it starts to lead to others, okay? And that's a problem because now the dealerships expect that. Long story short, even if you get approved for the auto loan, you're looking at an interest rate of anywhere between 18 to 23%. Why? Because your credit hasn't been established. They look at you, first off, who got that kind of money? Okay, what age do you have to be at to have bad enough credit to where you're trying to buy a CPN, okay, to have the money and the finances to even do something like that. So now you're 2 for 0, right? So now you have to, in order for you to have that type of money where you can even do it, now you have to be at a certain age. So now guess what? Now you're a 30-year-old person on average, I would say on the low end. 30 years old, okay? Now you've never had credit in a day in your life. Are you serious? And you think that a bank is going to give you a $15 to $20 to $25,000 loan? And let me tell you something. Most of the people that buy CPNs, they don't want to go into a Toyota Corolla. They don't want to go into a Nissan Sentra. They don't want to go into a Honda Civic. They want to go into a Dodge Charger. They want to go into a Malibu. They want to go into a Camry, an Altima. They want to go into a full-size vehicle, right? So now you're looking at $25,000 plus. And no one's ever let you borrow that kind of money. Well, I bought a trade line. Yeah, that's not your money. They can see that. It says AU, authorized user. Or it'll also show, it says responsibility, and it's going to show authorized user. It'll never say joint. Joint means you were on the application. You were never on the application, okay? So again, this is why it's only so much you can do. Now, some people say, well, Calvin, have you ever seen someone buy a car with the CPN? I've never seen anyone. I sold over 550 cars in less than 4 years. I've never, ever seen someone successfully go inside a dealership and purchase the car using that CPN number. I'm not saying that it can't be done. I've just never seen it. Now let's go over what you cannot do with the CPN. Number one, because I know a lot of people, I've seen people send me emails and comments. It is legal. That's because they're trying to sell it. Okay, cool. So here's the deal. I've yet to see like somebody that's for real that sells CPNs that owns a home. Okay, that's flag number one. So if they can't help you, number one, if your goal is for home ownership, why are you listening to people that don't own a home? I'm just being honest. I'm not trying to separate myself from those people. My point is that the whole point of credit is to obtain things that's going to, of course, make you money, assets, things of that sort, right? So number one, you cannot purchase a home with the CPN. Did you know that? Okay. If you don't believe me, call your local mortgage broker. They hate. See, I'm going to make a video. I showed you guys what banks hate to see. I'm going to show you guys what mortgage lenders hate to see. Because people think they got this game figured out. Stop doing the shortcuts, guys. Stop with the shortcuts, okay? So number one, you cannot purchase a home, okay? Anything that's government related. So of course, which is flag. I keep telling you guys this stuff is that if it was legal, then you should be able to get a home, right? Also, that means you can't get any student loans, okay? So you're probably like, well, I don't want to get any student loans anyway. Well, I'm just saying that if it's attached to the government and if it's so legal, then you should be able to do that, right? Well, exactly. So you can't buy a home, you can't have student loans, and they're probably not going to give you, it's going to be very difficult to start getting loans and things like that because, again, people that usually purchase a CPN are looking for the quick fix, okay? Now, again, we've already spent $1,600. How much debt do you really have? How many collections do you really have where $1,600 can't help you? Okay, you can easily get a secure credit card for $200 that doesn't even do a credit check. Okay, so then you can take the rest of that money after you start building your score. You can then take the rest of that money. You can get another secure credit card. Now, let's say if you bought two of them, that the $200 a piece. Now you got two credit cards. You're only down $400, right? So compared to the other scenario, you now still have $1,200. Now you can get your score up to, let's say, I don't know, 580, 600. You eventually will qualify for a personal loan to pay off all the rest of those bad debts that you have, because you still got your job, right? Unless you falsified those documents too. These are the types of things I'm talking about, is that stop looking for the CPN. Here's another reason why you should stop looking for why you should stop trying to get CPNs. Okay. The next is mainly because you still have not taken care of your debt obligations on the original credit profile, your social security number. You just because you bought a CPN doesn't mean all that stuff goes away. So you still owe those banks. You still have those accounts. Here's another thing that you guys are missing. Now, with most CPNs, you have to start off with a PO box. Now, some people say, well, you don't have your information correct. No problem. So again, this is based on my own research. Let's say you don't start a CPN with the PO box and you use one of your addresses. Now, remember those banks that you owed, those collection companies that you owed? Who do you think is going to give you guys the money again? Those same banks are going to see the same profile. So if your name is, I don't know, if your name is Michael Johnson, okay, and then now you get the CPN, and now you try to get a car, you try to get a credit card. Those same entry level banks, Capital One, Exeter, Santander, First Premier, 9 times out of 10, you messed up with them. They're going to see the same first name, last name, and address with a whole different credit profile. That is fraud, okay? I don't care what anyone says. Or if you say, you know what, Calvin, forget what you're talking about. I'm going to go ahead and buy one. Go ahead. Listen, you go right ahead. Okay. Here's the problem. Bad credit is better than no credit. Why? Bad credit means that your credit was good enough at some point to get approved for those items. No credit means that no one's ever given you a chance, especially when you got a lot of inquiries and no one's ever approved you. Now you look goofy. Now you look stupid. I'm not saying that you are stupid. I'm just saying you look stupid because now you tried to do something and it just didn't work out. So now you got to go to a shady place because you got shady stuff. Now you got to go to a shady place. Everything's shady. Now you're mad because they're not reporting to all three credit bureaus if they report at all. Here's another thing. For those who don't think you can buy a car with bad credit, there are plenty of banks that are in the subprime industry. That's what they make money from. Prime means you have good credit. Subprime means you don't have the best credit. Most of the money in banking is made from subprime lending. So that's the reason being is because the higher interest rates. My point is that there are plenty of banks that will give you a credit card with bad credit. There are plenty of banks that will give you an auto loan with bad credit. And you're going to save a tremendous amount of money instead of getting a CPN, thinking you're going to be doing something, saving the world. And now you got an interest rate of 18 to 23% anyway. Then when you try to refinance it, guess what? They're not going to refinance on a CPN. I'm just saying, like, how far do you guys think it's going to go? At some point, you're going to be thinking, man, I want to buy real estate or buildings and things of that sort. Listen, you have to change you. You have to get a real credit coach that's not taking shortcuts. And I promise you at 850 Club, we're not taking shortcuts. We show people how to do it the right way. Some clients get upset. They say, oh my God, I got to do that. No, listen, we're not saying you got to, we sit down and pay everybody, even though that does make the process easier. But at the same time, there are things that it just makes sense. There's no shortcuts to this, guys. I promise you, I will show you the right way on how to do this. Okay. The office is open. We are ready for your phone calls. 877-205-7771. I'll put it down in the description below. I promise you we can help you like we've helped so many others doing this. Just over the weekend, we got over 4 people pre-approved for their first home. It's not just in Illinois, it's all over the country, okay? Because we're showing people how to do this the right way, and the right way matters, okay? But either way, if you like this video, like it. If you want to subscribe. And of course, if you know anyone that's just, they think they know everything about these CPNs or whatever, I'm starting to notice a lot of these people that got CPNs don't own a home. They've never done, they don't own any real estate, no assets, none of that stuff. I'm not knocking them because, again, this is part of the learning curve. But at the same time, you have to say to yourself, okay, is this really a shortcut that I'm just trying to make sure that it's not a shortcut? But I promise you, if you're paying all that money, you might as well put all that money that you spend building another credit profile into your original profile. The banks will love you for it. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one.